An ominous note has gone up across Mackay, promising a community-enforced curfew for all youths from 10 p.m. till daylight. It threatens any youths caught walking the street shall be disciplined.
I think it's a good idea, but whether or not it works out is another matter.
I can see why people would be calling arms and wanted to do something about it.
Their issue? The large number of unpunished break-ins and car thefts. The anonymous vigilantes calling for any fathers that are ready to stand up for your community, to protect those that are unable to do so.
There is such a risk for an adverse reaction towards, the youth that aren't the ones doing things wrong.
It just seems like police are pretty much powerless to do what they're supposed to be doing.
Queensland Police say they're monitoring the situation as tensions across North Queensland boil over. Just days ago, 2 people were charged with trespassing after nearly 100 vigilantes surrounded 2 homes in Rockhampton, banging on windows and doors.
Come on out and face the music.
Also in Rockhampton, a man was charged after allegedly attempting to chase a car he believed to be stolen, while in possession of edged weapons. While some concerned locals have even set a neighbourhood watch convoy driving by the homes of those they suspect are committing crimes.
The last thing we can have is untrained people going around trying to take matters in their own hands.
Some of the information's quite wrong, and in fact, the stuff on social media is pure speculation.
Community members are worried things could escalate.
I am very worried that if we don't take action on these vigilante groups, they're going to get confident enough to kill a child or a teenager or a young adult out on the streets.
The vigilantism, for some, more concerning than the crimes.
I don't think there's anything but racism in this. The current vigilante movement is founded a lot on hate and superstition. And at this point, they're looking to raise a lynch mob.
So what is the real danger to Queensland communities, and how can authorities keep everyone safe?
Well, Tom Alsop is an experienced social worker and the CEO of Queensland's peak body for child protection. He joins us now. Tom, what do you make of these posters in Mackay?
Look, I absolutely understand the intent sitting behind them, and I sympathise with the fear and frustration of the community, but it's an act of utter stupidity to put posters out there saying that we are going to discipline every young person who's outside after 10 p.m. is just calling for trouble, and it's going to lead to some really poor outcomes, both for the young people and the adults who are just trying to do the right thing and getting in the way of the police.
We're seeing the rise of vigilante groups right across Queensland. Do you have any compassion for them at all?
I do. I absolutely do. And I think there is a well-deserved sense of fear and anxiety through our communities. We've seen some tragic events in Queensland. But what we need to understand is that vigilanteism is not the answer to addressing any of our youth crime problems. Even though the intent might start out as good, it's how it snowballs. It's what happens when that vigilantism turns into mob violence. When you've got 100 adults standing out the front of a home demanding 13-year-olds step outside the front door, I'd be scared. I can't speak on behalf of our young people in terms of what they're feeling, but I would be scared.
But Tom, the numbers suggest that there is an issue with youth crime. Queensland's own police numbers suggest that there were a record number of offences in Townsville last year, including an almost 50% increase in assaults, and young people have been behind those crimes. So when do we say that this is a problem?
Young people are absolutely behind some of those crimes, and we acknowledge that there are a small number of young people who are committing a disproportionately large amount of crimes in our community, and they need to be treated and supported, and they need to be held accountable for their behaviours. What we're doing, though, is we're setting them up to be held accountable in ways that aren't working. We're locking up more and more children. Our detention centres are full. What we need to be doing is taking an approach that actually recognises that we can address the causes of offending. Then we don't need to respond to the consequences.
Tom, the whole situation feels like a powder keg that could just go off at any time. So if it keeps escalating, what are you worried could happen?
In Queensland, firsthand, we've seen the consequences of vigilanteism. We've seen a death resulting from vigilante pursuit. But we've also seen, in my sector, I represent a lot of organisations who support very vulnerable young people. We've seen groups of vigilantes kind of threaten to storm some of our homes and threaten to hang the young people within them. Like, that's really extreme behaviour that we need to be calling out and condemning, and all sides of government need to condemn that as absolutely inappropriate. But what we're saying when we're putting out vigilante kind of posts that say every young person needs to be disciplined after 10 p.m. is that every young person in Queensland is a suspected offender.
Tom, we appreciate your time.
Thank you.